gentlemen, there will be a press statement now by the German Foreign Minister, both in English and in German, and there will be the option for a couple of questions, this time for the traveling press. Thank you for your understanding. Mr. Foreign Minister.
Good afternoon, everybody. I extend my congratulations to all newly elected members of the UN Security Council, especially to my counterparts from Austria and Portugal. I am convinced that in the Council, they will work to the benefit of the global community for peace and security. We will engage in close coordination for a strong and decisive European voice in the UN Security Council. Germany too was ready to contribute substantially to the work of the Security Council in the next 2 years. We put a good offer on the table. Obviously, the result is a real disappointment. It's a bitter defeat. I have said so in advance. This is an intense competition. This would be a close race. Germany entered late, meaning we were at a disadvantage from the start. And we see that today, clearly. It was not possible to make up for lost ground. This holds particularly true for many of our closest European allies and partners. However, for this federal government, and also for myself, I can say that we fought up to the very last minute. We gave everything we had. And yes, there are some issues we have always taken a clear position on, positions not all UN member states share. There's our rocket-solid support for Ukraine. It is no secret that Russia does not want such a voice at the table in the Security Council that campaigned against us. It also may have cost us votes that Germany must always assume a special responsibility for Israel with regard to the Middle East conflict. We will continue to live up to our historical responsibility, even if at the time we criticize specific policies of the current government. Today, one thing is clear. Germany will, even without a seat in the Security Council, remain committed to peace and security worldwide, as well as to a UN that is capable of action. We will do our part to promote a working multilateral order. This is in our foreign policy DNA, and it's our own interest. We remain committed to our principles. Peace, human rights, and development require a strong UN, especially in times of massive geopolitical disruption. At the same time, the United Nations urgently needs to become more efficient. We remain committed supporters of the necessary and fundamental reform process which a new Secretary General will have to pursue with dedication. Germany's voice in the world, also for the freedom, security and prosperity of our country, will remain audible, even without a seat in the Security Council. We continue on the course we have set, in the interest of and for the benefit of our country. Therefore, I will leave to Mexico tomorrow, one of our key partners on this side of the Atlantic. My visit to Mexico as the first EU foreign minister following the conclusion of the global agreement is intentional. There, I will focus particularly on how we can further strengthen our economic cooperation. Meine Damen und Herren, ich gratuliere namens der Bundesregierung den neu gewählten Mitgliedern des UN-Sicherheitsrats.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the federal government, I would like to congratulate the newly elected members of the UN Security Council, in particular my colleagues from Austria and Portugal. I am convinced that they will play an important role in the welfare of the world community for peace and security. We will vote closely for a strong and determined European voice in the UN Security Council. In the next 2 years, Germany has also been ready to make a substantial contribution to the work of the Security Council. We have offered a good deal. It is clear that the result is a real disappointment and a harsh defeat. I have said in advance that this is an intensive competition. Germany joined late. We were at a disadvantage from the start. In the course of a season, I would have been the final runner. Today we see clearly that there was no more competition. This is especially true for our closest European partners and allies in Europe. For this federal government and for myself, however, I can say that we fought until the very last minute. We gave everything. And yes, we have always clearly referred to certain issues. And these are positions that do not always share all the member states. There is our rock-solid support for Ukraine. It is no secret that Russia does not want to know such a voice at the table of the Security Council, and has also made a voice against us. And it may have cost voices that Germany must always assume a special responsibility for Israel in the Middle East conflict. We will continue to stand up for our historical responsibility, even if we at the same time practice criticism of the current government's policy at specific points. It is clear today that Germany will continue to engage outside the Security Council worldwide for peace and security and for an actionable UN. Our contribution to a functioning multilateral order. This is in our foreign policy DNA. This is in our interest. We continue to remain committed to our principles. For peace, human rights and development, a strong UN is needed, especially in times of massive geopolitical displacement. It must at the same time become more efficient. The necessary basic reform process, which the new Secretary General or the new Secretary General will have to continue, we will actively support. Germany's voice in the world, also for freedom, security and prosperity of our country, will also remain acceptable outside the Security Council. We continue to engage in the course in the interest and for the good of our country. Therefore, tomorrow I will travel to Mexico, to one of our key partners on this side of the Atlantic. Consciously, I travel as the first EU Foreign Minister after the conclusion of the global agreement to Mexico. There, I will particularly highlight how we can further expand and strengthen our economic cooperation. Thank you very much. Mr. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Minister of Foreign Affairs, this is still a very big step towards the white counterpart. I have just said a lot about my current leadership, but such a clear result will require an in-depth analysis on the German side. This is absolutely clear. We will be able and must be able to discuss many things together. I will continue to stand up for us to remain active in the United Nations, that we remain engaged, and that we do not withdraw from disappointment about the result. But of course, my confidence in Berlin will not increase because of this result. The confidence of all those who are internationally engaged in the federal government will not increase because of this result. Nevertheless, I still consider this commitment to be correct and necessary, and I can say for myself, especially with an outstanding thank you, or a big thank you for the outstanding commitment of my team of the Foreign Office, especially here of the permanent representation at the United Nations. We have given everything, and I think I also claim that for myself. I asked this question, Mr. Blank, quite some time ago. I don't know if I have to think about other questions, but I think this is an overall result that, as I said, has its causes at a longer time. And I personally have nothing to suggest, but I ask myself every discussion about these questions. The first reactions I heard from Berlin, also from the Parliament, were reactions of gratitude to the whole team, and also to me personally. And in this respect, we want to continue our work vigorously for a good German foreign policy, and also an international commitment to the United Nations. So in the first reaction to this clear result, we will sit down in peace. The normal tournament in which we apply is the 8-year-old. There is a lot to say that we stick to it, thank you.